fact, in the Washington Post opinion series where the essays in this new book originated, they received 4 times the section's average readership. And you said it was like the country is hungering for an explanation of how government works. Where do you think that hunger is coming from? And why do you think the quote unquote bureaucracy, which is often said in a very pejorative way, is so misunderstood?
In the first place, we just don't get stories, very many stories about the government. Or when we get them, they're in the form of some some poor civil servant who's hauled in front of Congress to be ritually humiliated for some mistake they made. I don't know this is true, but I've been told it's true. That there's been just a kind of decline in civics education in the country. Like, what the civics course you got in the 8th and the ninth grade is not as widely taught anymore, or not taught in the same way. So, just like how a bill becomes a law, that kind of stuff just doesn't get into kids' brains.
We need Schoolhouse Rock Part 2.
Yeah, it's something like that. No, it's kinda true, but the second part of this is, like, these people who work in these jobs are, 1, not forbidden from promoting themselves. They don't have time to do it anyway. 2, they're really not the kind of people who tell their own story. They're not self-promoters. They're almost the opposite of self-promoters, and there is a built-in problem in the government. The politicians, and I hate to use that word as a pejorative, but it is just true, that people who are campaigning and running for elective office find it very useful to be negative about the civil service and to blame them for when problems occur, but there's not really any upside for giving them credit. It's like the politicians want the credit. So, the people who are junior class, senior class president types who are out there waving at the crowds have no real interest in selling the mechanism of the government. And I think we all kind of know the government, we sense in the back of our minds, this government's doing something. It's kind of magical. You turn on the tap and you get cold water you can drink. That doesn't just happen. And it comes from like a reservoir from 300 miles away, or that, the weather is predictable 7 days out. Used to be not predictable at all. How did that happen? It just becomes like the infrastructure of our lives. And I think until it's threatened, it's like your parents. Until they're threatened, you just think, "Well, they're there. Thank God they're there maybe, but I'm not gonna pay much attention to them." But the minute it becomes like, "Oh, crap, they're gonna take it away," even if it's just a hint of that, people kinda wake up and go, "Oh, oh, 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 maybe I need to know about this."